The people that I work for, which is really the fans of Vancouver, or did work for, and those are the thoughts that have been going through my mind in the last couple hours.
Are you going to stay in hockey, do you think?
Well, I don't know if that's certainly within my control, obviously. There's not very many teams. It's pretty much all I've ever done, so but I can't make a comment at this time. I don't know what that answer is.
What are you going to do right now?
I'm going to catch a plane and go home.
Okay. Thank you.
Pat Quinn was the victim of the perfect corporate hit. It was Godfather stuff. There was no speculation he was about to be fired. It was completely unexpected, especially by Quinn himself.
Obviously, we're not that happy with the team performance, and also we think we want to continue to build upon the organization that we have throughout the Canuck organization.
The decision to fire Quinn was made over the weekend by a group of top Orca Bay officials that included owner John McCaw. The one decision they didn't make, though, was who would ultimately take his place.
So I think that if you look at searches like this, they normally take several weeks. I would not expect to have it in the media by Friday, let's put it that way. So I'll use the quote several weeks. I think that's probably realistic.
In the meantime, the Canucks will have a three-headed general manager, bell ringer, and Quinn's assistants Mike Penny and Steve Tambellini. Pat Quinn was also one of the last links between Arthur Griffiths and the Canucks. It was Griffiths' late father, Frank Sr., that put the Canucks in Quinn's control back in 1987.
Clearly, one of the most positive things I ever had anything to do with in hockey was bringing Pat into this city. But Orca Bay has a responsibility to provide a winner, and they felt this was the right decision. And as if I were in their shoes, I don't know that I would necessarily question the decision as much as it's a part of life that goes on, and I know Pat has been frustrated by the performance as much as everybody else.
For the Canucks players, a lot of whom are in Vancouver because of Pat Quinn, the news that he was out of a job came as just as much of a surprise to them as to anyone else. The News Hour's Barry DeLay talked to them and to coach Tom Renney in Maryland shortly after the news broke.
Well, to say it's been an emotional day here for the Canucks in Landover, Maryland would be a gross understatement. Players using words like sad and disappointing to describe the firing of Pat Quinn. Now, the players found out at about 7:30 this morning Vancouver time when they came to the U.S. Airways Arena for their morning skate, and it was at that time they found out that Pat Quinn was no longer in charge of the hockey team.
Well, I was shocked when I heard about this morning, and I don't know what to say, because Pat Quinn, he was always there for us, and he was a guy who signed my first deal for me, and he was a coach when we went to the final, and he just was just like a member of the family.
It's been tough, for me. He's, responsible for me being here, and I kind of, grew up with Pat Quinn. I was 18 when I came here, and so we've been through a lot for sure.
The real disappointing thing to happen, I've been with Pat for 8 years, and there ain't nobody on the face of this earth that I respect more. So
Pat gave me my first opportunity to coach in the minors, and then brought me up to Vancouver, and I view Pat as being one of my mentors. I certainly look at Pat as something more than a coach or general manager or president, as one of the finest gentlemen I've ever had the opportunity to meet. And for me, it's a sad day for hockey, for Vancouver hockey as well. For whatever reason, it's not all just about wins and losses, it's about integrity, and I've never met a man who is what Pat Quinn is.
Well, I'm certainly disappointed, obviously, for Pat, and disappointed for the organization, to say the least, and certainly, as I should, I would imagine, I feel some responsibility here. Well, I think we're all responsible for what happens for Pat, and it's not just his fault. I think we all share that fault.
We didn't have a chance to talk to Mark Messier on camera, but off camera he said there's no doubt this team will take on a new dimension no matter who is in charge of this hockey club in the general manager post. And I guess it's safe to say that no matter who's in charge, the Canucks have to start winning on the ice. That is the story from Landover, Maryland. Let's send it back to Vancouver.